All right, what is our I-CAN statement for 3-5 equations, tables, and graphs? Taruna, go. So after our lesson today, you should be able to represent data in different ways. So vocab, we talked about slope, super important. I'm going to spend just a little bit of time on our 2 vocab. We've talked about slope in a whole bunch of different ways now. We know that slope is the m in the slope-intercept equation. We know that it's rise over run in our graph. And we now know that it's the change in y over the change in x, which is expressed in this formula right here. Okay? Very important that you understand all 3 of those different representations of slope. And then y-intercept, we talked about it being b in our slope-intercept equation. We talked about it intercepting the y-axis at whatever point it's at. And now we talked about it as where x is 0. A little bit more basic than what slope is. Moving forward, we worked on a whole bunch of tables, or not a whole bunch, we worked on a whole bunch of different representations, going from a table to a graph, which we'll show you on the next page here. Actually, that's not the one. I believe that's not the one either. Here is a table that we used. And we took that table and we were able to calculate, or not calculate, but we were able to draw this graph. Okay. We also talked about how to use slope given a table. So we calculated slope without using rise over run. Yes or no? Somebody tell me again, what is the equation for calculating slope? What is the equation for calculating slope? Really loud, Megan, so we can hear.
Y equals mx.
Nope, that's slope-intercept equation. That's why we gotta know that this is gonna involve some studying for you guys. What is the equation for calculating slope? Mackenzie?
Y1 minus y2 divided by x1 minus.
Y1 minus y2 divided by x1 over x2. Beautiful. Okay, so we did that, and then we went to more notes, and we talked about going from a table or a graph to an equation, and that would have been represented, I believe, in this one. Same one, I guess. We wrote the equation as y equals x minus 1. You could get that from here, or you could have gotten that from there, from the graph or from the table. And then the last one we did is we wrote, or we drew a graph based upon a situation, in this case, an airplane taking off. And we drew the graph showing the slope, how steep of a takeoff the airplane would have. And just to refresh your memory, Matthew, when a label is not given to you and a problem needs a label, what do we always use?
Units.
Matthew.
Units.
Units, Matthew said, which is great. So in this case, we have h equals 12s. We have no idea what the height is supposed to be represented in. It didn't tell us feet, it didn't tell us meters, it didn't tell us yards. So we're just going to use units as the label. Questions, comments, quandaries before we stop the video?